Okay, hello everyone, my name is Random Gamer Riven and welcome to another, well, the finale of this week's of streaming and also at least this run of streaming, as I will be taking next week and probably a few weeks off, unfortunately. We're just having a think of things here at Randomised Gaming. We're also looking at certain aspects of YouTube at present. So we have identified, unfortunately, a problem which we're going to have to try and rectify. But hello and welcome. This is Unreal Tournament on the Sega Dreamcast. So yes, our tonight's stream, I will be looking at the Dreamcast version of Unreal Tournament. And that did save my thing from earlier, so that should mean, yeah. So I've got slightly custom controls here. I have using config 2, increase the sensitivity. By default, the initial configs in config 1 is blooming awful for Unreal Tournament. Hi Benwood, thanks for joining us. The thing, it's not the exposure. We've currently noticed an analytics issue where YouTube is currently, it's not handling streams properly with videos, which is an issue. And a couple of other YouTubers have mentioned it. It starts pulling down basically streams and YouTube videos are two very different things. So a YouTube upload has a very different life expectancy to a stream. Problem is YouTube's analytics at the minute merges them together and that's causing analytic problems. So we're having a look. We may in the short term actually move back to Twitch, but I've not confirmed that yet. But I'm going to need to put out a few sort of long plays anyway. I need a break anyway because we've been streaming for a while. So I need to do some long play and I've got a few other videos planned that I'd like to do. That doing streams just knocks me out of time. So, but there is an analytics issue we need to address. So I think it's an issue YouTube. Well, we mentioned it on Twitter the other day that there's an issue where it's merging YouTube's analytics is very different for streams and videos, but it's merging them together, which is a big problem because then it starts thinking that your streams are your videos and then it starts applying your stream rules to your videos, which is just killing some of the videos we've put out. And unfortunately, we've had that confirmed by a couple of big YouTubers that it's the same problem, that there's the same issue. They said that streams, unfortunately, because of how YouTube's analytics handle them, we flagged it of YouTube, but they're being a bit nonchalant at the minute. But quite a lot of people have now mentioned the same issue. So, here we go. This is Unreal Tournament. The not ideal port on Dreamcast. It's a bit of a weird one. It's far now. There are the Megaplex, yeah, that's one of the bonus stages. There was originally the North American version, you can select it from the get-go. Google! Got a gearbox, what's the other one? Dust, Deport, Nation Core, Steel, Pressure Cannon, Brickyard, Block Party, Babylon. Store, I must have gone past it, Space Knox. Outskirts, that was the other one. Let's do Mega. I don't think either of them were Neo Tokyo. I want an 8 stage. Let's start with a quick fun match just to have a look at it. Now, what's the bots numbers? 5. Yes, okay, 6 will do. There are a couple of 8 stages, but 6 will do. So that's 20 as well. So we previously covered, and we've got Skilled, Master, and Inhuman, so I'll do Skilled. And always a good idea to set a end time, because sometimes matches can go horribly right. So this is Unreal Tournament, and we're going to be taking a look at this in tonight's stream. We've already covered most of those DC hits you've mentioned. We're not going to be covering too much more on the Dreamcast, so it's more we want to cover some other stuff at the minute, so and streaming kind of prohibits that, as I'm the main video person. But we are looking to make a jump from... We might try a jump on Twitch for a bit to see how that differs. Previously, though, Twitch, when I tried to do it, was utterly broken, so I'll have to try it again and see if that's working now. We've already covered Shenmue 1 and 2, so... and those type of big games, you need to cover a sort of mix of stuff, so niche games actually fare better than big games when you've got millions of streams. But this is... I can adjust the volume, I was jumping off the click there. Let's keep that down a bit. So this is the Dreamcast port of Unreal Tournament. Do you dare challenge Zan? Yes, Zan is the final boss. So, Unreal Tournament is a fantastic game on PC. Not so good on Dreamcast, I'm going to be honest, but... Oh, and I just walked off the edge there again. N64... We've done loads of Sega Saturn stuff at the minute. I mean, we've done loads of stuff. We are looking to do a load of Sega Saturn stuff. I haven't done too much N64 stuff, and I have been meaning to look at it at some point in the near future, because it's one of the consoles we haven't covered that much. And since we got RGB N64, we should cover it a bit more. So yeah, we should be doing more N64 stuff. I will do some more. In the past, Nintendo stuff hasn't necessarily done that well, though. But I will definitely cover some more obscure N64 games. But yeah, we may be moving to Twitch in the short term. But I have a few videos I need to do, so I've got quite a few long plays and other videos on currently coming out that I actually need to spend some time to get down doing. You got the guts, you got the game, enter the tournament today. And I'm partly petered out with doing streams, so I'd like to break myself anyway. But yeah, we have noticed some analytical issues. So this is a lot easier to bump people off than in Quake 3, and the music... I should probably turn the music down a little bit. I've got it on a bit too loud for my personal preference. Yes, we have lots of long plays and playthroughs on the channel, so long plays and playthroughs. Sometimes I call them long plays, sometimes I call them playthroughs. We do list them all. Yeah, we've got lots on the channel. I'll just turn that down one. I like the music loud, but it's probably a little bit interfering with what's going on. Hopefully that... Okay, that's better. I want to keep... There's a careful after getting the balancing right, but yeah, we've got lots of playthroughs on the channel. And playthroughs is one word, I should say. So Unreal Tournament definitely was not the best port on Dreamcast. Quake 3 was the better port. However, Unreal Tournament is the better game than Quake 3. Visually, I think this kept a lot of the visuals up over the PC version. And I think there were some issues that the team doing this port perhaps weren't the most experienced. I definitely feel they could have got an eye on Perfect Arcade PC port, but without the visuals. So definitely the visuals may need to be turned down a little bit. I do feel, supposedly this is loosely based on the PS2 version, which I can't verify, but as you can see, unlike Quake 3, the enemy people, you go down a lot quicker. There's no sort of waiting around, faffing around. It's basically kill or be killed. Quake 3, there was a lot of layers of ammo and other things that... Now, Unreal Tournament to me is a better game than Quake 3, but is Unreal Tournament as good as Quake 3 on Dreamcast? I don't think so. But I do have a couple of long plays coming out over the next few weeks, so I will be working on them at the minute. I do have a couple of other videos that I do need to concentrate on at the minute, hence why I'm also taking a break from streaming. So we do have quite a nice Saturn video planned, but I'm waiting back on contacts on a few people. I'm not sure. I've asked for a couple of cameos for people, but I think I may have to proceed without them, because I think we're running short on time for that one, so... The alt fire from the you got the minigun. Now I will say the music in this version is the same as the PC version. It is a fantastic hit. The music for Unreal Tournament is just brilliant. I should also say the default controls are terrible, as I mentioned briefly earlier. Now, the frame rate is very hit and miss for this version, sadly. It's not the best. Oh. Yeah, I'm not winning this one, that's for sure. Shows you I've won every other match prior to the first one I streamed. Typical. Never mind. I guess that's part... Oh, just slid off. Oh, I should have jumped there. So this, it's interesting that Epic Games, who did this, and Digital Extremes would later go on to do Fortnite and Warframe, and neither game, despite their big success, are a patch on Unreal Tournament. I think it's fair to say. I mean, both are very good games, but they're not great games, I think. Oh, I'm going down, aren't I? Oh yeah, I forget. If you get taken out by the air, you lose a kill. There are some censorships in this version on top of the removed features, so all the female characters have been removed, any non-male human character has been removed as well, which is very disappointing if, like me, you enjoy playing as the lasses in this. I think it was probably due to some hardware limitation, but it is disappointing. They also slightly censored a few of the graphics, and they censored some of the dialogue as well, so... Yeah, that's the problem with falling off the building. You lose a life. Oh. Oh, this one's got low gravity on, hasn't it? That's what I'm not getting. certainly doing better than the first. The only downside of this is that up on the D-pad is secondary fire, which is probably the worst possible button. And the default control system, as I said, is absolutely awful. So if you're playing this, make sure to change the default control system from the get-go. It is terrible. This was actually a collaboration between... Oh, you keep running off the edge there when I go down this. This was actually a collaboration between Digital Extremes and Epic Games. So basically the company that made Warframe and the company that made Fortnite these days, I suppose, is the best way to describe them. Epic Games, I must admit, have really gone downhill. They made some great games of Unreal, and Fortnite's an alright game, but it's not a perfect game. 6. Oh, come on! But yeah, the frame rate for this version is anything but ideal. That was not an easy stage, actually. You keep everyone was getting... No one actually won that stage as well. Okay, let's try another one. Practice. This is team deathmatch. Which stage should we go for this time? Block party. How many players can I have? Let's play as old... where's Malcolm? The classic character from the series. Block parties 5. I know there's a few 8. I'm just going to try and find an 8. Brickyard, Canyon Fear, Cold Steel Pressure. I think this was 8. So yeah, there are no female and non-human male characters in this version, which is rather disappointing. As always, if you're enjoying the stream, please consider hitting that like button. It is much appreciated. Oh, that's only 3. Try every stage, see. That's also only through Damnation. Oops. No, I'm trying 8. I want a 8-man team deathmatch. I really wish it would tell you when you start. Dust. Gearbox. Come on, this is a bit naff. I expect a few 8-man maps, so they're not. Don't tell me they're all locked out. Appreciate everyone hitting the like button on the channel. Let's just gonna check there's a list. So we do have a couple of long plays coming. You'll be glad to all hear on the channel. Big long plays too. I've got a couple of 1 credit clears and some very good long plays. Okay, team map, team to capture the flag, deathmatch. Okay, so industry 6, Inferno is 4, Instinct is 4. Loathing is 4. Megaplex is 6, I think. Morpheus 6. Morbius and Morpheus 6 and 4. Neo Tokyo are none of the 4. Outskirts, so I need Pressure. The Stalwart XL, that's definitely available. There we go. So frags was team. We probably want 30. Okay, let's do 30 and let's do 15 minutes. Let's get some intense multiplayer action. So this isn't the best port of Unreal Tournament, it's fair to say. It's not a bad port, but it's not. It's far from the best. I mean, it probably is actually, ironically, the worst port of it. So I'm on red. And I drew first blood. Yeah, I mean, this is a fast. Amazed they got that headshot. I was killed by Barack. Okay, up there's the rocket launcher. The weapon of choice for taking out pretty much everyone. So yeah, here we go. Now I can wreck. So unlike the blooming, I mean, I will be honest. Quake 3 is unforgivingly hard. This is much, much better. So there's a double kill already. It's just so much faster. Quake 3 is such a slow game, and the story mode, as I saw when I was doing it, was quite unforgiving. Probably should have done a few warm-up matches, but the one-on-one matches are just deeply unforgiving in Quake 3. Now, this port doesn't include a lot of the stages as well. Most noticeably, Facing World, which is probably the most iconic stage of Unreal Tournament, is missing, as are many of the other stalwart stages. There's some really, really cool stages sadly missing. The Dreamcast version does have a number of exclusive stages. I believe they're all based on the PlayStation 2 version, but the general picture is the stage is missing, should have been in, it's just Epic didn't do a good job of the port. I think this is supposedly based on the PlayStation 2 version. And I don't think Epic made a great job of the PS2 version. I think the general consensus is the PS2 version should have been better, the Dreamcast version should have been better. It should have been a one-to-one port, pretty much. I think the only thing is whether the visual should have been slightly turned down. They would have probably had to lower the polys a bit. And there we go. Red match, 15 kills. So yep, I was half the team's kills and everyone else got 5. So yeah, unlike the previous matches when I was playing on Quake 3 Arena, where I was getting absolutely slaughtered, you can see this is just such a better game than Quake 3 Arena. Admittedly, this port is not as good as the original, but let's do a catch the flag mission. I'll just quick do, so do Domination, I'll do catch the flag. Oh, Hood's in there, brilliant. Spec Baloo this time. So yeah, a few of the really good stuff. No, I want. Let's go, see how good my AI is. Nope, this is a slightly different stage to the one I was expecting. Headshot. There's definitely a lot more auto aim in this one. Okay, right, so which point is this out of interest? That is barrels and car wreck. I thought this was actually a slightly different stage to the one I was thinking of. Yeah, and you're stuck on the ceiling, friend. Even if you've auto aim turned off, this game definitely some form of auto aim on. So my team's on about 50. Now, if you're looking for a direct port of Unreal, you will be disappointed because so many of the key stages are missing. So Facing Worlds, is it Stalwart, one of the early stages where you go up and down? There's lots of key stages that even I was disappointed with, that I thought, well, that should be here, that isn't. Some stages are missing, even I'm like, well, I can't figure out why this is missing because this shouldn't be missing. So it is a little bit of a mixed bag in some regards. Ooh. Oh, there's the flat cannon. I knew it was going to be somewhere around. You notice I'm actually doing vastly better than I was originally in the Unreal Quake 3 video, where I was just getting absolutely hammered, because Quake 3 is brutally hard. So we've got this one in the bag. We're going to even probably get it before 50%. They get 50.
Congratulations, you are a winner.
But yeah, we do have some long plays coming in the very few. In fact, this week, in fact, I might even have a mini review of Grey Lancer coming out as well. So that's a few Actually, I didn't do a capture the flag map. I should do a capture the flag map just to show before I do the domination. We've done team deathmatch. Capture the flag. I think mutilated, I'm just correct, is just like select your, yeah. Yeah, some players will be very disappointed with the stages missing because a lot of the key stages from Unreal Tournament are sadly missing. So I'll do Stormfront. Let's do blue, so red will be the enemy. Okay, so score you normally want 3. Okay, just back in a sec. And hello to Nico, thanks for joining the stream. Just a bit of Unreal Tournament tonight. And I should say, this, in case you're wondering, yes, I am playing via VGA. We have got a replacement VGA cable in, not a box at the minute. We did have a VGA box that's currently broken and we need someone to look at, try and fix. Although I think the image, ironically, when I looked at this, well, actually this cable gives slightly better, sharper quality, so this is even sharper than it was before. This game also doesn't use full 6448, I noticed, unlike some other Dreamcast games. So on VGA they do slightly differ. This has got safe areas, so you've got black borders at the top and bottom and the left and right. I mean, you always have borders at the left and right because generally the left and right, basically the width's always the same, but the top and bottom ratio does change a bit per game. So yeah, a lot of these stages are definitely very turned down from... Okay, Bruce is the red flag. You have the flag. Oh dear. So I did on Quake 3 the other week, and while Quake 3 is definitely the better port, this is definitely a much faster game. Admittedly, this is not a smooth port. The frame rate is going to go up and down, as you'll see over the course of the stream, like a yo-yo, to put it mildly. It does depend on the stage. But the music is absolutely fantastic. Oh, the Dreamcast logo. Yes, that is quite... Yeah, you're right there. The Dreamcast logo, I've definitely noticed, is the larger... Come on, I've got to get the flag. Oh no, I've gone down. Yeah, you're right there, Nico. The Dreamcast starting logo definitely is the highest res... I do absolutely love the music in Unreal Tournament. It is fantastic. So this version definitely has some form of auto aim or turned on, even when you have auto aim turned off. 2 minutes. Oh, I set it to 5 minutes. Oops. Can't get the flag out there, bud. Yep, he's got it. Great. Alright, this stage the frame rate's actually Diaz ended. Yeah, it's a bit weird the Dreamcast is 720x480. Because that's effectively a widescreen resolution, so I'm surprised. The only game that might use it, and I need to check that, Aqua GT surprisingly had... Aqua GT is a weird one. It was like a European exclusive racing game. But that has a widescreen option. It's one of the few that actually has a proper widescreen option. Okay, so that's a few matches from the random matching. As you see, it's a very solid... it's a good game. It's not such a great port. So new games. We've got skilled, master, skilled. Let's call myself, well, what else but other than Riven? Assume that's capitals. Yeah. Now this game did originally support online, but only the North American version had online support. 2 of the stages in the online version are basically locked out, and you have to use a cheat these days to access them. I see they've set it out like a keyboard. This does support mouse and keyboard. And whose skin shall I use? Let's pick this one. Yeah, most of the widescreen games on Dreamcast are literally a widescreen image packed into a 4:3 signal, which is the worst kind. So you'll notice on the tournament mode instantly that this version is sadly missing the assault mode, which was sort of the story campaign missions, or basically where you and a team had to obtain a number of objectives. Now, I'm pretty sure the Dreamcast could have done them, but I've been aware there was some questions as to whether there had been a agreement with Sony about exclusivity. So why not? Let's start with doing the tutorial just so you can see it. Actually, no, I shouldn't bother with the tutorial. I'll save that for a video. I did do the tutorial in... no, I don't think I did do it in the... I'll exit out of this one, actually. I'll save the tutorial for another video. My disc is actually quite badly scratched, and I don't think I ever finished it, so if at any point it does go a bit... gaga, you'll know why. So let's get on with Oblivion. The very first match. So the first 2 maps are present. The 3rd map in Deathmatch is missing, which is a big disappointment. Offline play. Hello, Deep in Friendship, maintain the world peace. Yes, we're looking at the Sega Dreamcast version. And in Europe, the Sega Dreamcast version does not have online play. They actually removed the online play, and you get the 2 secret courses that were unlocked automatically. I'm just looking at my manual cover is actually quite badly water damaged. I actually had to get my copy clean because initially the loading was dreadful on it. I must admit I've never actually finished this, so I don't know if this copy fully works because it was really badly scratched when I first got it. The one downside is the secondary attack is up on the D-pad. So with this gun, as this, oh, he's got the rocket launcher. But this game, yeah, this is back when multiplayer games actually had an offline single player as well, which was quite nice. And I will be honest, Unreal Tournament is 100 times better than Fortnite and Warframe. I enjoy playing Warframe, and I do play Fortnite. I'm not the biggest fan of Fortnite, but it's the single player of Fortnite is actually better than the multiplayer, if I'm being honest. The multiplayer is boring. The single player, Save the World, is actually quite good. Because, of course, this was actually made by both DE and Digital. We got the fighter out of this. There are a couple of stages missing in the Dreamcast version that... There's the secondary fire, you've got a shock rifle. So you compare this to the Quake 3. I mean, I'm on skilled, and I was getting absolutely slaughtered on Quake 3, whereas here I'm absolutely dominating. The game is much faster paced than Quake 3, that I will say. Your health is a lot less as well, so you go down much, much quicker, which I think works better. Basically, you have less health, so it's killed or be killed, and I'm on a rampage as well. Yeah, must be the Elgato reads 720 as a bit weird because you get the semi-widescreen resolution. Because I've had to sort of adjust it to get the proper 4:3 in some of the images, because otherwise you get a weird semi-lopsided widescreen picture that's not quite to, because it's an odd ratio and then it's forcing it into aspect, which is a really weird thing. So I'm on a rampage. Can I win end this? I do like the flat cannon. Yeah, Quake 3 was godlike. The AI is just brutal. The problem with the AI in Quake 3 is it just goes straight for all the key power-ups. So basically, oh wow, that was a 15-0. I didn't realise. I thought I died once or twice. The AI in Quake 3 just goes through all the power-ups, and the power-ups give you a huge advantage. Poor Blake is playing. Hello, Shinobi-Wan. Thanks for joining the stream. Very much appreciated. As always, guys, appreciate you hitting that like button. Very much appreciated. I must admit, I never liked Quake 3 that much. This is always a vastly superior game to me. It was faster, it was sleeker, and while this is not the best version of it, it's missing, as said before earlier, it's missing all the female characters, it's missing all the non-human characters, it's missing a lot of the really cool stages. I recommend being shocked by Quake 3. Yeah, Quake 3 is just not a patch on this. There is a reason Doom sort of fell by the... Doom and Quake fell by the wayside. So Quake... ID kind of screwed up badly with Quake because they should have kept it going, but they didn't. And I think Quake 3 was one... And to be there or not. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it was a risky decision that I think in the long run, I mean, it may have paid off in the short term, but in the long run, Quake 4 just petered out. I think because a lot of players like myself kind of were a bit meh, because Quake 3 was like, well, this is a mode within a game, and you're just selling us half the game, basically. I mean, they do it all the time now, but it's like Fortnite. They're selling you, but admittedly they give you half the game away for free in Fortnite, so... Yeah, I understand. I loved the first two Quakes. I hated the third one. I played the third one, as you saw the other night. I finished the third one. I don't think it's a patch on Unreal Tournament, because this is just faster and smoother. Okay, there was definitely a bit of auto-aim there. Yeah, I actually have auto-aim off, but... So auto-aim is off, but it still has an auto-aim on it, even when it's off. Yeah, I never played Unreal. So, oddly enough, I played through... So, here's the thing. I really loved Quake 1 and 2. I didn't like Quake 3. I never liked Unreal. The original Unreal was a bit of a meh game because it was brutally hard in places, unbalanced, and it looked great but played like rubbish compared to this. So I didn't like Unreal 1. Unreal 2 is not bad, but I really loved Unreal Tournament, whereas Quake, I'm the opposite. I loved the Quake games. I didn't like Quake 3, so I loved the single player ones, hated the multiplayer. And Unreal, I wasn't particularly keen on the single player games, but loved the multiplayer ones, so go figure. I mean, this is a game I still play on PC to this day. I don't play this Dreamcast version at all. The frame rate alone should tell you that the frame rate is absolutely dire. Someone's behind me right there, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of auto-aim on here. I'm actually dominating this so far. I wasn't expecting to do quite as well. So this shows you the difference between how difficult. So Maybe possibly it's because I've been playing Quake 3, but Unreal Tournament just plays a hell of a lot better. So if I go back... Oh, I thought it was a team deathmatch. I haven't... I've got to do Halberdier next. 20 thrags, 3. Yeah, I have played the later Unreal tournaments, and they aren't bad, but there's just something about the original. The later ones are actually pretty good. There's one of the later ones that's really good. Unreal Tournament 3, I think, was a bit meh. 2, I think, was pretty good. I don't think they ever quite captured the same magic as the original. I think the tendency is to have, when you have more RAM, etc., to make the stages bigger, which is a big flaw, because bigger stages actually slow down the pace of the game, which is one of the issues that DE have in Warframe. So Digital Extremes co-developed this and later went on to do Warframe, and ironically Warframe has a load of issues that Unreal Tournament has in the multiplayer, and one of them is the maps are just too large and too slow. Yeah, this definitely... I mean, Quake 3 is alright once you get into the multiplayer. When you start getting into the multiplayer verse matches, it's just the one-on-one matches where the AI always goes. Yeah. It's just a betterly polished game. I mean, yeah, the frame rate's all over the place in this version. This is a heavily cut down version compared to, but it's just a better game all round. On Dreamcast, I would argue that... Oh wow, he was basically standing there. So I would argue on Dreamcast that this version isn't as good as Quake 3, but as a game, it's just a better game. You'll notice I'm playing a lot better. Jump more as well. Headshot. Do love the announcer when he announces a headshot. Someone shooting me down from behind? Well, that's how I get the... Yeah, this one's definitely more fun with a mouse. This one does support mouse and keyboard as well, so... Oops, I think I just inadvertently chopped my own head off with that. Pretty sure I said Riven ended Riven's killing spree. Is it a bit dark for you guys? Do let me know, I might brighten it up a little bit. Yeah, those... So these stained glass windows are slightly censored. They are actually topless, the women in the PC version. And as it's stained glass windows, it's not a sort of sexual thing. But yeah, they were censored. As I said, they've taken out a few of the comments as well when you kill them. So there's a few sort of swear words. You'll actually see that if you watch our Unreal Tournament video, you can hear some of the swearing and see the We've done a video of the PC version, yeah. One thing I will say, do change the default controls to Config 2. Config 1 is awful in this game. Config 2 uses the sort of Quake 3 design. Right, let's get some quad damage going. Yeah, we have got the Xbox version of Painkiller. I probably should cover that. There's a couple of platforms. The guy earlier, Ben Wood, mentioned N64, and I should do some N64 stuff.
Congratulations, you are the winner.
Okay, and there we go. 20 frags. Congratulations, you've opened up a new ladder. Okay, so I think that means I've opened up Dominion. Yeah, let's do Heal Pod. Then I'll jump into Dominion. I'll unlock each of the ladders. I won't do them all tonight, but that's one to practice on. No, there's lots of different versions of Painkillers. I know what you mean. I've got the PC one. I think it's like the first couple, and then they did the Xbox version. I think that one of them's like a remake. The console versions are different to the PC, but I think we got some of the PC versions a while back. There are a couple of stages in this that are exclusive to console and are not in the original PC version, so that's kind of nice. Admittedly, the multiplayer version heavily gimps the game quite heavily, so you get 2D graphics for the weapons and things, obviously to keep the frame rate up. Rule number 1, don't shoot someone in the heal pod. I'll shoot him out the heal pod and heal up. Oh really? So the original, the Painkiller series, only the first game was... Yeah, there's a couple of games like series like that where literally only like the first game was made by the original team. I'm not sure how many of the later Unreal games were made by... because I'm pretty sure Epic Games largely did the engine and Digital Extremes largely did the game. Oh, I see you can't wait forever in the heal pod. You sometimes get the switch come... I think there's a switch to cause the heal pod to crush everyone inside. I might be wrong. Also, when I looked up Painkiller a while back, it was actually quite difficult to find information on what game was what. There was the remake on 360 as well, but that's not based on the original Xbox one. And that's not... I think that's a remake of the original PC game. Strangely, I think this game it doesn't have a constant 30 FPS. So, just so you know, I was actually going to do Quake originally on this stream, but I decided against it. So you might be going Quake, but you did that the other night, and I'm going, I'm going to be doing Quake 1, as there is a homebrew port of Quake 1 now. And I was going to be using the Rad Quake version, which is a really, really good port, but sadly it uses the music. And at the minute, if you put up any video of Quake with the original music now, you will get a content ID from 9 Inch Nails, as I think they've brought back the rights to the music, because I know the digital versions don't actually have the music now, so... Oh, it's that switch there is the one that... I mean, they've definitely reduced the poly count on the models, but they've kept consistent. I think they've literally kept the same modelling, hence why they haven't done sort of female... They've taken out the female models and the other models. It's disappointing they've taken the others out. Ah, Condemned. This is the stage I wanted to play. This is one of my favourite stages from the original Unreal, so I'm glad this one's still in. Sadly, my most favourite stage, Facing World, which we did in our PC video, is sadly missing from this version. I'll be honest, when I originally played this version, I absolutely hated it. Having corrected the controls and a few bits, this is not as bad as I originally thought back. Admittedly, I was probably being a bit biased because it was missing Facing Worlds. It's still not perfect, but... because this is one of my favourite stages, Condemned. And yes, I do absolutely love the music. Yeah, I think they've slightly censored the Illuminous ones as well. Okay, we're battling blue. You be dead. Yeah, there's a couple where they swear in the original victories. They've been taken out. When you This is definitely slightly easier than the PC version as well. Oh, the music for this. Oh. This is a fantastic score. Strangely, the guy, I think who did it, did Warframe's music, and Warframe's music's very different. But they recently added in a couple of tracks in Warframe that sound suspiciously familiar to Unreal. They added in a new track for the Corpus that literally sounded like it was... Hello Hassan Terrell, thanks for joining the stream. AI definitely keeps you busy on this one, that's for sure. Oh. Yep, no, it's always nice to say hi to people who are joining the streams. Glad you're enjoying this look Unreal tournament on the Sega Dreamcast. As I was saying, not the best version, but it's not a bad port. It's not as good as Quake 3, but it's definitely a better game. I mean, I've always preferred Unreal Tournament to Quake 3. It's just, this is much fairer as well, as we were just saying. One of my guys, I shouldn't. And nice, we have it. 88 points, Rad Kids 27, Drake 21. So that is Dominion. And that's Condemned. That's actually one of my favourite maps. It's not my most favourite one, but it's one of the better maps. I'm glad that one made it in. I think it might be slightly smaller than it is. I couldn't see the... But look, there have been quite a few changes, so this console version does have quite a few different maps as well. Despite the fact the scars are shown in this, I don't believe they're actually in it unless you can unlock them. Quite a few key characters are missing. In the original version, as you went through it, you'd unlock the skins to play as the other characters. Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't the PC version, the Xbox version, so it's sort of a... I have a feeling, was it like a half and half port? The Xbox version's actually quite good. Okay, I think this... Just trying to remember if this stage is in... A couple of these stages I'm like, is this in the PC version? Yeah, there's definitely a bit of auto-aim. Even if you turn off auto-aim, it still has a bit of auto-aim on. It's actually pretty good, the Xbox version. The Xbox version of Painkiller I thought was better than the 360 version. The 360 one's a different game, but I thought the 360 one wasn't as good as the Xbox version. make it run better on Xbox. Yeah, it's interesting because I remember Painkiller on Xbox is not that common a game. It's quite an obscure game. We only found out about it relatively recently, so it's like one we only relatively recently got. I quite recommend the Xbox version. I quite enjoyed it, what I played of it. I've not played that far into it. What I played of it, I quite enjoyed. There was a couple of other obscure Xbox games. There's an RPG called, like, Arax Faris. That's another pretty obscure one. Double kill. Unstoppable. I think Godlike's the top one, isn't it? You get Rampage. Godlike, there we go. God, this is such a difference to the Quake III one where I was getting slaughtered left, right and centre. Guess which one is the harder game? At least on 1v1 matches. That's it, the one where the sun dies. Yeah, that's the one. That's quite an interesting RPG. The volume levels in this, the per music, are quite different. RS Fatalis, yeah, that's the one. I couldn't think of it. I knew it was A and F for the second word. So A for the first word, F for the second. You see, there's a lot more death matches to Dominion matches. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the cables. This is actually a new cable. But it's actually a slightly sharper picture, I noticed, than our original VGA box. So, it's quite nice. It's not a VGA box, it's just a straight Dreamcast cable. But we suddenly had to get it as soon as we realised, oh crap, the thingy's died. Well, we'll need to get a new cable. Funky Western RPGs on it. Yeah, there's a Pirates of the Caribbean one which I got, and that was awful. That was apparently a follow-up to another game that I'd never heard of. Impression never helps, yeah. Yeah, the problem with YouTube is 10, they're 10, 6, 1080p 60 frames a second frame rate is blooming awful. It doesn't... there are SNES and Mega Drive games that will kill the frame rate because they move too fast, because it's far too low for 1080p. Can't work out where one of the does the 480p X2 mode? Yeah, that's actually what I think I'm running on 480p X2. In order to do it, you had to, so the open source scan converter has a thing to, you have to set the mode for is it DVT on, else otherwise it won't accept the VGA input. That was an issue, although I think in the later firmware updates of the open source scan converter, they enabled DVT by default, because originally it wouldn't accept it. Because this has a weird thing at VGA where it doesn't do it at 60 frames, it does it at TV resolution, doesn't it, that causes problems. Because if you do like this 3X and the other modes. Although weirdly 5X works. But the downside with the 5X mode, at least it works on some games, the 240p ones, is my TV doesn't support it. So, and trying to play fighting games on the Elgato is rather tricky, as it adds in about 4 seconds of lag. Oh, I need to get... We are neck and neck. I need to get this. Come on, lads, we need to get that lock. Yeah, only the Dreamcast seems to be set to the DVT, but obviously it's an issue with... so there's a damage multiplier, and it's just off this room. So what kind of cat... Special upsample enabled. Okay. Let me just check. I don't think I've got upsample. Oh, this was 25. I'll see if I can whack on upsample enabled, because because ignore me, there are some features on the open source scan converter until you actually like experiment with them, you have no idea what they do. Does the weapon shoot the Wilhelm scream? I don't know. I think you might be right. I think one of the things in this might actually be the Wilhelm scream.
Congratulations, you are the winner.
Press fire to continue. Okay, let me just bring it up. Where is the 2x? Allow upscaling to... Upsample 2x enabled. Okay, so that's on now. I think it is on by default. It's on 2x. Let me just check. I wasn't too sure what upsampling did, but I did look at the RetroTink 5. I did see that basically is the opens. That's basically the RetroTink's version of the open source Scan Converter Pro, which is very interesting. I have to admit, they basically beat the open source Scan Converter team to the punch, so to speak. So I think I'm actually in 2x mode. So just double check. Line X mode. Eek. It's not. Yeah, the older Pro, I definitely think sync options. I think DVT's on by default. Let me just check. Looking at the output menu, output. Yeah, there are a few. I think I can't remember the. Ooh, no, don't want to do that. Don't want to do DIY test compatibility. Full TX out. They slightly changed some of the options. I know that for the latest firmware. But yeah, I don't want to experiment too much in case it kills the output. No, it doesn't support resolutions like 960p, the HD 60 Pro, so I don't know whether I need to update the firmware, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, Elgato weren't known for their best compatibility, so... Oh yeah, 2X would be 960, wouldn't it? Yeah, no. It's annoying. The Pro doesn't support it, at least with my version of the firmware, because the problem is I'm on Windows 7, so I've not been able to update it for yonks, because the newer firmware was only Windows 10, and I think it will go all crazy if I update it. So I'm on the last revision for Windows 7. No, I am kind of. If I get a new deck at some point, I would definitely grab the Pro X 4K version. So, yeah, the Elgato software is all right for capturing, but I generally don't use it. I don't use it for streaming. So, and there are some things that OBS are actually quite handy for streaming, but it's mainly about having the latest Elgato drivers, I think. But yeah, whether this, I don't think my version, even if I had the latest drivers, would support the resolutions. It's the better versions. I think this one was designed primarily for sort of static 1080p resolutions and 720p. But there is the new S Plus 4K version, isn't there, inner one, which is probably the one that I think will be the one I'll grab at some point, because I know, basically, I think because of all devices like the open source scan converter, Elgato have had to support resolutions better.
Congratulations, you are the winner.
The one thing I've probably got is a higher bitrate capture than you, though, because the inner ones had the internal Elgatos had a much higher bitrate capture. Mine allows up to 60 megabits a second, which on 1080p games you really do need. Certainly for the because they're because it's using compression, the higher by default. I mean, yeah, you're still getting slight compression, but it reduces the compression artifact. But yeah, the resolution support on this older card isn't great. Just excuse me a second, guys. I'm just going to grab myself a glass of water and then I'll be back. So chat amongst yourselves for a second. But what HDMI adapter? Sorry, Shinobi-wan, we didn't actually mention your question. What casual? So I use the open source scan converter for these days. There was, I mean, we do have the earliest scalers. There were a couple of sort of unofficial scalers that were quite half decent, but these days trying to get hold of them is a bit tricky. Oh, the stage is called Riven. Oh, good. So, what HDMI adapter would you recommend for the Dreamcast? Okay, so I don't directly use a HDMI adapter at the minute. I'm using a VGA box. I know there is. I know the company I bought I bought this VGA box off Kaiko, who I've got a GameCube lead I'm going to be looking at shortly. They did, but we thought we'd get a quick VGA lead. I think it's just a sort of standard lead. I saw some sort of Chinese-made leads looking very similar, but it's a pretty decent lead. It's just direct out of the VGA, so there's no box, so you can't switch it, but it works. And to be honest, you don't need a switch these days unless you want games to do both games, in which case it's just taking out so basically we have to swap the Dreamcast. Rather than just if you have a VGA box, you can just plug in the HDMI. I know the guys are all mentioning the Toro VGA adapter box does RGB. That's probably about the only one that does RGB as well. There was the official VGA box, but HDMI, I'm not aware of too many adapters. I know Geico, I think, did a Dreamcast HDMI adapter, but there's probably a few. I can't really recommend one that much because we tend to use VGA cables into sort of more expensive VGA into HDMI adapters like the open source scan converter. And if you're on a budget, the open source scan converter, it's not super expensive, but it's not cheap either. It's probably about $180, I'd imagine. The newer one I know is going to be more closer to $400. So I think it really does depend on your setup, really. I mean, you can get quite cheap adapters, but I don't know how good they're going to be without looking at them and reviewing them myself. So I'm just going to grab a glass of water, guys, and then I'll be back. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the rather Unreal Tournament crazy screensaver that goes on. Well, literally the logo moving back and forth. Okay, let's get on to Niven. I'm going to take a drink of water, so I'll just go off mic a second and just shoot some enemies for a minute. Yeah, if you want the quality stuff, definitely save up. If you want like a... I know Kaiko did a fairly cheap VGA box or VGA adapter, HDMI VGA adapter, but I can't tell how good it is, and that didn't have a switch on it, so... But that's about the only one I've seen. There are a few others, but... it looks like it might be... Just about, okay, one moment. Okay, sorry about that. We had some issues with our broadband provider EE today. We've had connection issues. I should have mentioned it earlier, and it appears it just died on me just then. But we are back now. Apologies for that. I think I've probably lost everyone. Yep, fully back. Oh, Facing Worlds is still in this. I didn't realise it. I thought it wasn't. Okay, it is still in it. There are a couple of stages that are definitely missing. Okay, I have to shut up when I say Facing Worlds is not in this. It is. It is most definitely in it.
I'm in position.
So yeah, apologies if you're one of the people still watching. We had said, you've had major broadband outages in the UK today, and our provider is EE, so unfortunately we were out after. I didn't think I'd be streaming, but obviously they're still doing something to the network. The fact it just dropped out in the midst of a stream, which is never ideal, but at least we were able to get it back. Now that's not a good way to rescue.
Congratulations, you are the winner.
So yes, Facing Worlds is in the Dreamcast version. And I thought it wasn't, but it is. And yet the stream has survived. We are back. Apologies for the disconnect earlier. Bring it up here. That's interesting. That's actually reset the open source scan converter. Oh yeah, I switched it off, didn't I? When I rehooked it up to avoid it crashing again. Yeah. That's why I forgot I had to switch it off to salvage it. Ah, oh, this is the one through the mountains, isn't it? Oh, that was a close jump. I thought I might have made a... I'm certainly having a bit more fun playing this than I did Quake 3. I mean, Quake 3 is definitely better looking on Dreamcast. It's definitely smoother, the frame rate is janky as hell, and this version of the game is cut to pieces, but I just prefer Unreal Tournament. Oh, I decided to take a swim in some lava. Ron returns the flag. Good. Okay. Oops. Cover me, guys. Cover me. Oh. As always, if you guys are enjoying the stream, please hit that like button. It is very much appreciated. As I mentioned, I will be taking a break off streaming in the next week or two. We're doing some rejig on the channel. One, because I've got a load of long plays I need to get out, and I've got a few sort of ongoing projects that I'd like to work on that I just don't have time when I'm doing bits for streaming and stuff. However, I will be available to chat on all the premieres. Oh, and I do have a couple of long premieres, so you'll still be available to chat to me throughout the long premieres. Every time Von is there on my... I assume Von might be following me, but... Oh, I got the flag carrier. I didn't see that. Oh, right. I'll take the long way round. That's twice. I've screwed up that jump, and that's twice.
Anyone else want some? I'm in. I'm in. Man down. Yeah. Anyone else want some? Safety. Safety. Turn, baby. Enemy Hang in there. Medic. Incoming! Incoming! I'm under heavy attack! Incoming! Under heavy attack! Under heavy attack! I'm in! I'm in! Incoming! I've got the flag! I'm in! Yeah! Useless. Incoming! I've got the flag! Under heavy attack! Got it!
Congratulations, you are the winner.
Phew, finally. Okay, so I got Domination. Ah, so they're the anti-grav boots. I haven't got them yet. Let's do code. Yeah, the Dreamcast port, it's not bad. I'm certainly enjoying this more, as I said, than Quake 3. It's not as good as the original PC version. There's a lot been taken out, too much for it to... But it's... If you don't have access to a PC, then you know what, this isn't a bad alternative. But the PS2 version is definitely the better of the two, as that has the assault mode, which I think the suggestion was removed from the Dreamcast because there was some sort of licensing deal at the time. Because Dreamcast could have easily done the assault mode, that's for sure. But as you earn the kills and unlock the stages, they'll unlock in standard multiplayer. don't use the secondary fire that much for some of the weapons. Maybe it's just the difficulty I put it on. Turn up the music a little bit, seeing as I'm not chatting as much now.
Anyone else want some? Anyone else want some?
Didn't realise about that one. A nice little invisible version of myself there as I'm running around. That's quite handy to know that invisibility. Oh, wow, I thought I died at least once. Death's not. I'll do one last capture mission and then I'll finish. So as always, if you enjoyed the stream, please do hit that like button. Again, if you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. Apologies, we had an outage early, sort of midway through the stream, hence why everyone vanished. Okay, I vaguely remember this stage.
Control point is secure.
I should say that Unreal Tournament, so it was... I haven't actually mentioned this. Dreamcast port was originally published in 2001. It was released in North America and Europe only. The North American version featured online play. The European version didn't. There is actually 2 secret stages in the North American version you have to unlock via these days that were meant to be online only. They are accessible in the European version from the get-go. They were the Outset and the Metroplex. And apparently Sega Retro lists a code. You have to set up an account thing to unlock them. You can still unlock them offline, but yeah.
Sucker.
to explore this stage and see it actually get to the top. Where do I go to actually get to the top? I see, it's up this way. Just realised there's no music playing on this stage. Not sure that's a good or a bad sign. A sign showing my copy is not in great condition.
Congratulations, you are the winner.
Yep, no music on the stage. What stage was that? Should there be music? Garden. Okay, I'll make a note of that. I need to check this is not a bad copy because my copy's quite badly scratched. I should have cleaned it a long time ago, so maybe not. Okay, it's gone 2 hours 30, so I'm going to wrap up this stream there. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Apologies over the slightly broken start to the stream. That was, well, not the start, the mid-stream as we hit a slight issue. I hit with our network connection dropping out. Apologies, we lost about 5 minutes there. Thank you all for watching, everyone. My name's been Random Game Riven, the editor of Randomised Gaming. I'm actually taking a break from streaming now for a little bit, so we may look at changing streaming services as well. But thank you for watching. So I'll be doing a lot of videos over the next couple of weeks on YouTube, so we just won't be doing that much streaming, but I will be available to chat on the sort of live premieres and everything. As always, if you enjoy our content, please do hit that like button. Of course, you can always subscribe to the channel, and feel free to join in chat whenever by joining up on the subscribe. Apologies, we make it subscribe only these days, but it stopped some of the spam messages we used to get. And we used to get a couple of people just sort of wandering and saying something and just vanishing. But thank you all for being with me. I will be back in the near future. We will, however, have plenty of videos coming on non-streaming videos. I've got about 3 or 4 planned. I will be looking at Grey Lancer on Mega Drive very shortly. I will be looking where we do Dynamite Cut, where we do a playthrough of Puzzle Bobble and a few other games. So thank you all for watching. I've been your host, Random Gamer Riven. I wish you a very happy weekend. Stay tuned, as we will have videos over the weekend. One of those videos I just mentioned may be coming very shortly. But in the meantime, I wish you a good night, a good evening, good afternoon, or a good morning, wherever you are in the world. That's it from me this week from Random Gamer Riven. I'll be taking a stream break as well. But thank you all for watching and stay tuned to the channel. See you all in the very near future. And yep, stay tuned to the channel. We'll have lots of videos coming. Thank you all, and good night, everyone. And again, apologies for the dropout midway stream. That was due to our broadband failing, and unfortunately EE, our provider, have had a whole host of issues today. So thank you and good night.